San Francisco.
Hello guys, welcome to The Grind, and I have
Brandy.
And my name is Christian.
And Alonso,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a co-host right next to me, and the other co-host over there, and the star of the show today. It's not me. It's Mr.
Christian.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from Puerto Rico. Lived my entire life there. Then I kind of moved to California due to military. And
Wait. She's your sister, right?
Yes.
Mother.
So you have the same dad,
No.
or you're not?
We're siblings that chose to be siblings.
Oh, so you're friends.
It goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
You wanna?
I've seen a lot more of him than I've seen of my other friends.
Okay, can you go a little bit into that?
He was in the Marine Corps with my ex.
Husband,
Yes.
boyfriend,
Husband.
fiance.
Baby daddy. He was all of those. I was a very sad and lonely single mom.
And then he came in.
Well, he was a good friend of my ex's, and he and I became better friends when we decided to. He broke my arm into attending the same school as him.
I mean, I did not physically broke your arm, but I was close to it.
He didn't want to go to the Academy of Art alone.
So you brought up military, right?
Yes.
What the fuck led you to join the military?
So I was one of the few that, like, being in a little island and trying to do what my family wanted to do. So I was very adamant on shying away from that. I went to school the first time for medical technology in a Catholic university. So I said, I'm not gonna do this. I want to get out of the house, explore, and keep playing games. And the only option
Video games.
Yes.
Not life games.
Yeah, let's go with that. The idea for me was, okay, I need to get out of the house, but I'm very limited on what I'm supposed to do, so I took the brave choice to just go into the military. And I chose the Marine Corps because I'm a masochist.
You like pain.
Apparently.
Extreme pain.
So I went to the military, and again, the masochism went through those 3 months of grueling training, exercising, and just not receiving any love, but I was used to it. So I was stationed in California since 2015.
Yeah.
And again, we became fast friends through her ex-husband. And it has been increased that love, or whatever it is we want to call it, up until now that we call ourselves siblings, even though there's not a drop of blood that we share.
You guys look alike in the pictures. I was under the assumption you were like blood like related. I feel very misguided.
Yeah, catfish.
Yeah, catfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm a
Well, they say
badass
that
myself,
Owners start to look like their pets.
and I
Oh my god.
don't like authority, and I don't like to listen. So me in the military would not work.
That's why he's out.
No, to be completely honest, the same type of situation. I left my house because I was kind of restrained in what I wanted to do. So I went to the military because
I think the word you're looking for, you rebelled.
yeah. So I went to the Marine Corps because apparently that is a completely different thing of being restricted in what you wanted to do, which is what you have to do. So it made complete sense.
And this is where I will submit a photo of him in his dress blues.
Please no.
It'll happen.
You said dress.
Dress blues, yeah. The Marine Corps uniform.
Yeah. Women love a man in uniform.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Well, not
care
all,
about
but,
the
you know.
women, but
So you're gay. You're gay in the military. How the fuck did that work?
most of them are gay.
Oh, really? I
Really?
thought they
Is
weren't
it
gay at
'cause
all.
I mean,
I'm stereotyping now. I don't know.
the military wants us to believe that, like, we are all like straight or whatever, but a few people buckle a lot on the knees. That's all I'm gonna say.
On the knees.
On the knees or knees?
Knees.
Knees.
So that's what I'm just gonna leave it at. So if you wanna cut that, this is my camera.
My imagination just went all over the place right now. Just like, alright.
Men are horny.
Yeah.
And they need their needs. So
Yeah.
What
imagine
happens-
being next to all men and you want it. What happens?
What happens in the field stays in the field.
Exactly. So-
Yeah, and that's why like the vast majority of people in the military like have knee problems, and it's not because of the packs. It's not because of the heights. This is my camera. You can just imagine that.
And leave that on, because I want that. I want that. That's key.
That's gonna be the trailer clip.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
Now I
I
understand.
understand.
All the knee replacements in the military. It comes from sucking dick.
Whoa. Whoa.
Did you know you were gay before you joined or after you joined?
No, it was a well-known fact before I joined. That wasn't even on the mindset when I left home, but it was a nice bonus.
Did your parents know? Are they okay with it?
They were okay with it. My dad found out a few years after I joined. I don't know how that happened because we shared a Netflix account, and I tend to like watch gay dramas and gay movies and series, cartoons that tend to go that way.
They'll say like gay on the title, or they have like specific like how
like the themes were very very blunt, like queer as folk, and a bunch of other stuff, and then on the description it says LGBTQ.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
When I actually told him, he was like, "Oh, so that's why you've been watching a lot of gay stuff on Netflix."
We actually bonded over RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
Wait, so sorry to interrupt you. So does it offend you when comedians not bash but like speak on the community?
I mean,
like Dave Chappelle, for example. Like, does that offend you personally?
personally, no. I understand that we are in a very political, like divisive and polarizing times. But I understand the side of comedy. They don't do it necessarily to offend, to entertain. But there's also like you have to be a little bit careful on what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. In the military, it was very blunt on what the mindset is. That is kind of like anti-gay for some reason. Well, not for some reason. Obviously, we know, but the macho views that the military has, especially the Marine Corps, the irony of it. Because, yeah. So, at least to me, I was very used to like getting offended to the point that it kind of desensitized me about like any derogatory words, especially like the F word that gets thrown around in the military a lot. So I don't necessarily find it offensive depending on the tone.
What about like from a cultural standpoint? Because you come from Puerto Rican background.
Yeah.
Obviously, Puerto Ricans, I like saw them growing up, like like reggaeton, like all that music, like sexy women and all that, and just like how do you growing up in such a culture, like how has that impacted you as a person? Like has that created a backlash with your family or your culture?
I mean, I'm lucky enough that my family hasn't had that much of a backlash. Again, like Hispanic culture specifically, not just Puerto Ricans, have a very like macho view, or what's it called? It's not feminist.
Machismo?
Machismo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of view like the LGBT people in a very negative way. So it gets kind of awkward, especially when I'm home and like you talk to people and then they throw like a snide comment that is kind of like maybe like pivot the other way a little bit or like change subjects or whatever, just not to like deal with the whole situation of okay, so I'm home, like I don't want like 30 plus people that are just cousins. I don't want to have like that conversation and kind of ruin festivities or whatever I'm for. Last time I went, it was for a funeral, so I don't want to deal with funeral plus a backlash and my future funeral. It's kind of like tread lightly on again where and how you like say things and how you perceive things. If you know that you're gonna be a place that is gonna be a little bit negative towards some point of views that is like the main majority, it's okay to at least back up a little bit. Because again, with the status of specifically in Puerto Rico, with how people perceive negative things, that there's a lot of shootings and all whatnot, so it's at least in this case paramount and necessary to just back away, that way you don't like get any repercussions that majorly leads to shootings and all that stuff. So it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
So being Puerto Rican, and I know Puerto Rico is now part of the United States.
Yeah.
In your eyes, do you see yourself as Latino or American or both?
I mean, it's both. I don't see necessarily like categorize myself as Latino or American. I'm just like the regular prideful Puerto Rican above all else. So yeah, but still we are Latinos because we speak Spanish
yeah.
and we're part of the whole like Latino community, and American because of the status.
I see you as Latino.
Yeah.
Or
Straight up.
Latinx, like some like to call it. Wait, do you like that term Latinx? Because I don't like it.
Oh, I don't like it. I just like Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Latino, Hispanic, I'm cool with all that.
Yeah.
Resident white girl.
Latinx. No, and then another question for you is, how do you like the whole movement right now with Puerto Rico and like Bad Bunny, for example? He's very like for the LGBTQ community. How do you like that, knowing the way you grew up and now how they're kind of getting a lot more support? I would say now than it was before. Like, how does that affect you? Like, do you like that movement that he's doing? I don't know if you've seen it too much.
Yeah. It's a breath of fresh air. Obviously, it feels kind of uncomfortable when you have to be like kind of like secluded in your own skin.
Right.
Especially when like I'm gonna say a percent like 85 of the population kind of feels some type of way against LGBTQ people.
Right.
So having like that conversation that kind of widens in the sense of it's not just you fighting against like again 30 people, but it's more like a community fighting like against like a negative point. It kind of pushes back.
Negative mindset, especially with someone with such a big influence. You know what I mean? Like
so it's not just you. It's just a bigger wide like community and influence. It kind of is pushing back against machismo like view sets.
Yeah.
That it's a it's a breath of fresh air. It's good because we're like widening people's minds.
Right.
In that sense, and kind of like preach acceptance and not just I'm bashing you because of my belief that inevitably comes from religious mindsets.
I can just imagine a world where we just are who we are and we don't have to be accepted anymore.
Yeah.
It's
I
funny
would
that
love
you
that.
say that because he and I have had conversations when Brie Larson first came out and was saying that Captain Marvel should be gay. Kristen and I actually had a conversation about it because
Speak up.
it
I think
seems
you're talking softly. Sorry. I don't know. You sound kind of.
it seems like as a society we do have a tendency to kind of like push it push the pendulum a little bit too far the other way too, because we're trying to make up for what we did in the past. And so
Yeah, representation is key. Representation is definitely key. I would love to see like people who look like me, feel like me, and generally represent me. But there are some viewpoints that kind of take it a little forcibly. And you do it in a forceful manner that kind of like are not radical, but it's kind of like just wanna force it there just to have it there. It
Like
kind of
shove it
like
down your throat type of thing. Kind of shove it down your throat.
yeah, it kind of like
Yeah.
create a backlash that in any sense, like kind of backfires and kind of like pushes like a negative mindset towards what you're trying to do instead of helping it.
Right.
Let's move on, cause
Oh, if you're moving on, then we can stop now.
okay.
Basically, a few things. We're gonna put the mics more in between you. We do hear you, Brand.
So you went from the Marine Corps
Yes.
and studied medical assisting, and how did you come to? I know how it came about, but maybe share how you came to be at the Academy of Art studying gaming development.
So game development has already been a big thing for me. My first game was in 1997. I was mathing 4 years old in Christmas with Crash Bandicoot. So video games have always been a great and a big part of my life. I remember every single game that I have, every single game that I played, and what I wanted to do is keep playing games, and it kind of transformed into me wanting to make games, but not just make games. It's pretty much the idea of making worlds feel alive. That way people can interact with them, at some point live their lives, and ideally learn from them. Going back to me being in Puerto Rico, because of games, I actually learned English, and I entered kindergarten with English as a secondary language because of games and like cartoons. Carmen San Diego was a big one for learning. Reader Rabbit, Jumpstart, and all those games. And then it made me understand bigger, wider games like Crash, Spyro, Metal Gear Solid that I should not have been playing, even Grand Theft Auto that I definitely should not have played early as I did. So I wanted to like keep track of games. Obviously, going back to medical tech, it was great. I was decent at it, but it's not what I wanted to do like long term. So I went to the military. I left the military, and okay, I'm out of the house. I'm by myself, so I'm gonna do what I want. So I went looking for schools based on animation or games, and I discovered a few schools, but I ended up in the Academy of Art University. And the thing that sold me with the academy is that you have people that worked on games or are currently working on games, um, teaching the craft of making games. So I went in, and my first class was I don't know if I can say your name, but we can bleep that out down the camera. My first class was with a guy called Jamie Cholet that was one of the 12 original designers for World of Warcraft. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game. So he taught me history of gaming, like starting off. And I got another professor that actually was in Crystal Dynamics working on the Tomb Raider trilogy currently. So I was like, okay, so you have people that are currently working on games, teaching how to make games. So I stayed because I can learn more from people that are already in the business and can like potentially be your networking into like the full industry once you're out, because again, you make relations with the professors and the people that are in the school, not just taking classes and getting graded by them. It's like how I see it is that you're doing small gaming projects. That way you jumped into like big industry like projects.
So you started at the Academy of Art, and it was clear sailing from there. It was just easy breezy, beautiful then.
Oh no! Oh no! So I learned really fast, and this is how like the university works: is that people get weeded out because of the top curriculum. The school has a 100% acceptance rate, but they have a very, very low retention rate because of this. I learned that I was really good at the design portion of modeling, animation, but I struggled hard with the scripting portion. Hate scripting, don't like scripting, that's learning a new language from scratch. But I'm a technical artist, so I love scripting. Is that my camera? I love scripting.
Can we put on the camera? This is his camera. You know.
It's like, I'm Judy Garlanding it. So is that my camera? I'm telling you, I love scripting. Good. Moving on. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that the university teaches very well, and that is like know your strong suits and know your weaknesses. And if you can work on those weaknesses, you will thrive. If you don't work on those weaknesses, bye.
Yeah.
So, are you successful? Like, are you doing video games right now?
So right now,
did you graduate? Are you still in the school? What's that like?
so I'm still in school. Small projects to like improve the craft is what I'm doing right now. I'm currently working on scripting because I am struggling with it a little bit more.
By scripted, you mean like the character dialogue or the story plot? What or like coding? What is scripting in video games?
For scripting in video games is coding.
Okay.
Coding in C sharp. I didn't even know that C sharp was a thing. For me, like scripting and programming was just binary and just wizarding magic and the computer. So I went to the school with zero experience in scripting or zero knowledge. So it was kind of like a punch in the face when I took my first scripting class. It's like, let's start with bools, integers, and all that crazy stuff. And I was like, I barely know Spanish and English, and I have to learn a new language, which is great, I guess. But yeah, it has been a little bit struggling on that, but we're working on that.
Okay.
So like, it would say you make a video game, right? Is that your ultimate goal? Is to make your own like video game, or like this is my idea and this is what I'm gonna sell to GameStop? Like, is that your ultimate goal?
So my ultimate goal is not pretty much making a full game, but working on animations to like create life into the world is how I see it. The school teaches you like the entire pipeline, but you end up focusing on what area. In my case is animation or technical artists that I have to learn a little bit more of modeling, rigging, animation, and programming. But that is my end goal, is just animating.
Would you ever like, I know like you're more into like games and stuff, but would you ever want to do like movies? Like say work with Pixar one day or work with any animation studio to make a movie. Would you ever be down for that too, or you're more down for games?
I mean, if the option arises and the opportunity arises, I'm not gonna say no.
Right.
Obviously, I like games, but I love animation.
Right.
So in the end of the day, if a opportunity arises and hey, we're going to Pixar, we're gonna make the new feature film, I was like, get me an Uber and I'll be there.
Like, have you gone to Pixar by any chance?
I got into the gates. They rejected me at least 5 times.
Yeah. No, if anybody from Pixar, actually I do know a guy I met from on the set that works at Pixar. He actually offered me a studio tour one day. So if you're watching this, hit me up. We're gonna all go as a field trip because he did offer me that. He works season animation.
I promise I will not cry as I enter the building.
Yeah. Yeah, hit me up or anybody at Pixar really. I mean, there's
Hey,
a
I
lot.
have the Pixar mom bod. I'm just saying, there's a caboose back there.
Pixar. Or have you gone to PlayStation in San Mateo headquarters?
No, I actually went to Ubisoft and I had the chance, but I kind of missed it, to go to Double Fine.
Oh, okay.
Now,
okay.
is your animation in the social medias? Where can we find your work? Is your work anywhere out there?
So right now I'm working on the art station. There are some works that I have, not a lot because I'm just starting my portfolio. So yeah, if you find Christian Rivera Alicea, there's Riveraalicea. We can slow this down. You can find like my art station that I have a few projects, Pixie Dust for 2D, character 3D animation for 3D, and stand by for more.
So if I write a script, right, and I tell you, can you animate this for me?
Yes.
Would you actually do that?
Yeah, I will have to get a little bit more help to get the concept a little bit more cemented. Like I can write for concept if you need me. I can do like storyboard, modeling, rigging, and animation if you so require. So yeah.
Well, I was talking to a animator, and I paid like $500 to, and he said he was gonna have a project done for me by December. I haven't heard from him since.
So the thing with animation is pretty much going on the end bit of the whole process, because you got the script, which is great, but you also need the concept, how characters gonna look,
Right.
the story, and
I get it. It's
form.
probably a lot more
Yeah.
work than it is to like make a film, because
Yeah.
you know the color of the character, their skin, the atmosphere, all that. I get.
Mhm.
I think that's one of my next steps that I want to.
Yeah.
I want to do some animation, but I want to do a lot of things. So
Yeah, because for animation, if you go in straight for animation and you just ask a straight animator, there's a lot of stuff that you are going to miss. So you need kind of like a group of people to get that process going. Because animators, we just get the rig and just start animating. We can make the rig if necessary, but it's not our entire focus. But to do like a complete animation, unless you are giving out the rig, the character, and the setting, it's gonna be a little bit hard for a plain animator to just do it, because they have to do everything else.
So what's your opinion on games that turn into movies? For example, I don't know if you saw the movie Uncharted, but a lot of people had negative reviews about it, even though they had Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. But people were saying that, okay, well, it doesn't work well because you see Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and you see Mark Wahlberg, he kind of overshadows, you see him as Mark Wahlberg. You know? So what's your opinion ultimately on these games turning into movies?
First of all, before he answers that, I want to tell those people to stop pigeonholing actors. That's one of the like big things for actors. Is just that's why we don't want to take a mantle and really do it well, because everybody always wants to say, "Oh, well, I only see you as this character." Stop it.
I mean, it all depends on like the production team. So if you want to make a great anything, you're gonna need a great production team. So for games, we already have the idea, we already have the story, we already know where it goes. If we're gonna turn it into a movie, you got to keep like the core ideals of that project and make it not as accurate as possible, but as like a complementary dictionary, please. So yeah, you have Uncharted, which you already got Nathan Drake, you got Sully, and you got all the characters in the story. But people often fail to realize that we cannot recreate those same characters because some of those characters are unattainable, to be completely honest. If you want like what Nathan Fillion, I think it was, for the character as Tim Drake, I mean, I'm guessing in production side there's a lot of negotiating, finding out, and a bunch of stuff.
Contracts, permits.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be completely accurate. Again, let's look at one more like recent and widely talked about, like Mario game. Like you have a Mario game that already has like a million games. Obviously, the difference between like the games and the movies is like, for the movies you want something bigger, something bolder, because you are not gonna put a 24-hour game into a 2-hour or a 1.5 hour movie. So you got to keep like the core of what Mario is into like the game. Obviously, the casting you want to make it as fairly like recognizable. Like you want the voice, you want how it looks, but that is not gonna be the case. Obviously, there's a lot of projects. Sometimes we don't listen to the fans. Kind of what happens to Sonic. So there's gonna be a lot of change. But if the production team does a very good job at keeping the core of what you're doing to the original source, you'll do fine. Because Sonic was great.
I'm probably in the minority here, but I do have to say that when they did Need for Speed with Aaron Paul, I feel like they really struck gold in adapting a game to a movie in that particular instance.
I mean, that's another thing. If you're gonna make a game, if you're gonna make a movie of a game that has basically limited storyline, if you wanna make it a storyline that is gonna span the entirety of the movie that makes total no sense, you are going to struggle. Mario doesn't have a storyline. I mean, the beginning of the Mario games didn't have a storyline, but it kind of like translating into like the story that we all know and love. Something happens with Peach, Mario like pretty much tries to rescue the princess, or just Mario goes on his adventure. So those kind of movies makes a little bit more sense because you already have a narrative in there. For Need for Speed, you technically don't have that much of a narrative, but for a movie you want to make it a narrative that makes no sense, that holds nothing to the game.
And you mentioned you're working on your craft.
Yeah.
What is it that you do right now that's helping you move forward with it?
I mean, right now for like learning on my craft is practicing. Do what other people are doing, which is basically the number one advice that you want to receive or get. Like, check what other people are doing and compete with those people. Because right now, animation or anything in games is a competition. So you want to be the very best that no one ever was. Please don't sue me. But yeah, that's the end goal. Like, you practice, work on your craft. If you don't know how to do things, look it up. Google, YouTube is your best friend. So at the end of the day, it's just being better and exposing your work to the world.
Correct. All right.
All right, that's a good place to stop.
Well, that was nice in my ears.
So, gaming, that's what you want to do.
That's what he's doing.
What other, that is what he's doing.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anything else?
What other hobbies? I know what hobbies you have.
I mean, actual gaming has become more of a hobby because I'm building games.
His shirt kind of implies.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of crocheting lately. Hats, blankets.
Oh, for sale. Oh,
Here's
for
his
profit.
Etsy link.
Etsy link soon to be provided. But yeah, I've been practicing a lot with crocheting.
Who's calling someone?
Oh.
It's one of you guys. Oh, it's me.
Are we having a cut or?
It's okay. It's
No,
fine.
keep going.
No, just
It's
keep
fine.
going.
That's hella funny.
It's one of you guys.
It was fairly
Now you know how it
time.
feels. Now you know how it feels, huh?
Yeah, it's good.
Alright.
I'm glad we just started though. Okay,
We all got one, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing a lot of crocheting. I just started like going full into making plushies. I need a reason to get rid of like 3 pounds of stuffing, so I'm doing a lot of plushies.
Request now open.
Request now
For
open.
Valentine's Day, right?
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've already requested a Mickey Mouse.
Fox.
But I'm related, so I'll never see it.
Not
Yeah.
even anymore.
Anymore.
That catfish has been exposed.
Also I do a bit of drawing along the sides. I haven't done that in a while, but
Drawing,
yeah.
like
Like if you want,
graffiti or like
if you want a Baby Yoda show.
No, just I tend
Not
to
for
do
profit, Disney, don't worry.
I tend to do character drawings. I did it for practice. That's where I got a lot of blending and gradients things going on.
what about like voiceovers, acting?
I do that, but not as a hobby. I just do it because apparently I have like 100 personalities that I have to take. Like,
You have to take them for a walk every once in a while.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
That reminds me of the movie Glass, where that guy with multiple personalities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I will not be jumping on roofs.
Oh, okay. All right.
No stunts.
No
Any
kidnapping.
interesting trips you've taken lately?
I did went on Disneyland a few days ago. Don't ever go there if you don't have at least $1,000. Just for the shops. Cause I know I went to like 3 shops and it's like $5 grand. Don't do that. Don't do that.
$5 grand on a Disney store?
Yeah, like the prices are like astronomical. Like
The
that's,
cheapest thing you can find is $30.
like
Yeah.
bottled water, they have it on, they don't have it at vending machines or concessions. They just have it on the stand of the store. It's like $50.
It's like 5. But still.
It feels like 50.
Right.
Yeah.
Sad another girl.
Because you already paid hundreds to get in the place.
Like if you need to hide it on Disneyland, just wait for a day that it's actually raining. Just
Free water. And minerals.
then you need to go to the hospital though.
And LA smog.
But yeah,
Sounds like you're multi-talented.
yeah, I'm actually trying to go on more trips. Less of a vacation and more of personal growth. Japan is one that I have on my list. Great Britain also, and just see what's out there, and also see like what I can do with my animation and just work from there. Because yes, San Francisco has a great deal of games, animation, and a bunch of industries, but it's not the only place in the world. Texas, Oregon, Great Britain, Japan, Korea even, China, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. In different parts of the world, it doesn't have to be the place that you're at. Because there's a lot of beautiful places out there in the world that if you kind of get pigeonholed into your own little bubble, you're not gonna grow.
And you could grow in your own city as well. Like I like photography, and I go to places sometimes and I see a lot of like the pretty flowers or just a gorgeous sights, and I take pictures of it, and I'm like, I don't need to go to like, you know, a specific place. It's all here. You just
Yeah.
have to open your eyes and mind to it.
Yeah, to the sense of adventure. Like Maybe you go across the street to the park and you see something that you've never seen. You go to the grocery store and you like are excited about like how people react to other people, how people react to their own environment.
Like with writing, like the raindrops, I could look at them and, oh, I could write a script about raindrops or whatever. It's just, you just have to be at the
Precise moment.
yeah. It'll hit you when it hits you. So.
Yeah. I actually like to travel, even though I am a very, very, very introverted and borderline antisocial person. But I just like to be out there.
It's stressful.
Yeah.
What, socializing?
No. Traveling,
Yeah.
social, all of it is stressful because you need a balance. But you know, like the clothes, the luggage, going to gates and this and that, and it almost drags the whole experience. But I also traveled with my family, not friends, or for myself. I would say I like to travel as well, but I don't have money for it. Because like you mentioned, you need money to basically do anything in life. So it's in the bucket list. I definitely need a vacation for sure. So.
Yeah, and also you don't need a lot of stuff. You can just hang in a backpack and just stroll around.
Depends on how long this trip is, though.
Yeah. Just here in California, you can watch the hills, go to the city.
Hikes, mountains, all that.
Beach. Take the BART or the train to another part of the state and just feel excited about brand new places, brand new things, even if it's something as small as a flower that you just seen, or like you said, like the raindrops, something that is new, exciting, and just fills you up.
Definitely understand that. Anything you want to add?
I just wanted to add, like, so I know we kind of went over this, but like, where do you find your peace? Because for me, like as an artist, I have to go to my place where I can just find peace within myself. So where would you say is that place for you?
For me, my place is not an actual place. It's just a mindset. If I can just be anywhere that I can just clear my head and do what I want to do, what I love, that is my place. I pretty much don't have a permanence on any place. I don't like to be rooted, but my headspace needs to be clear for me to actually enjoy any love, anything that I love.
And I feel like we kind of came to that together a little bit in our friendship, because we had to learn separately yet together how to find that quiet place.
Yeah, if you need space, communicate that you need space. I'm a person that, again, I don't have like a sense of like permanence, so I can go to where I need to be and just lose all communication. Then appear a few months later or even a year and just like talk to you like nothing ever happened.
No, bro.
Sounds like
I need that emotional connection.
No, there's been times where I've texted him, I'm like, I know you're taking your space right now, but I see that you've read my messages, so I know you're alive, but I do need signs of life. And he'll just be like, I'm alive.
I want to get
I'll
to
take
that.
you back.
I need to get to that point of relationship where people or I myself can do that. I'm too needy. I need that affection, that attention, because I'm not confident enough on my relationships that if they don't talk to me, like, do they care? Are they there? Like, I need that. So.
He really taught me that, like, because in my past relationships, I was very codependent, and through my relationship with Christian, he's taught me to just, I'm enough, and, I need to be okay with me, because if you're not okay with yourself, you can't really have meaningful relationships with somebody else. You have to be okay with your own time and your own space, and the space that you take up before you can give.
Yeah, you have to love yourself first, because if you don't love yourself, you're gonna take that out on your partner, unfortunately.
And it
Yeah.
is important to have that
Exactly.
personal health too.
It's just so, it's a life struggle, a life thing that you're gonna learn when you're 50 or 40 or 10. It just depends on the person.
Yeah.
So it's
And
just
he really did give me that confidence to know that I was going to be okay as a single mom, and that I didn't have to tolerate some of the things that I felt like, oh well, if I don't put up with this, I'm never going to find anybody else that'll put up with me.
How long have you been friends?
Oh, 10 years now?
About
2015? Yeah.
2015.
Almost 10 years.
Well,
Almost.
that's a blessing, because
Yeah.
I know my biggest thing in life is to leave with at least one like real friend. That's my goal in life. Aside from many other things, but that's one of my personal ones.
I've
so.
really been blessed. I have Christian, and I have another best friend that is the same level. I've very been.
Because it is a blessing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, especially when you have nothing to offer but your friendship. Those are the ones you should stay close to, because there's gonna be people around you that they can benefit off of you, but once that benefit is over, like, are they still gonna be there? You know what I mean?
We have this thing, because there's been times where I'll be in the city and I'll call Christian, I'll be like, let's go get sushi, and he's like, I don't have any money. I said, I didn't ask you if you wanted to go get
Right.
sushi. I said, let's go.
Right.
And I think it's important to have that open, because, I'm not coming into the city so that you can go buy your own food with me. I'm coming into the city to see you, and if that means that I'm paying for us to break bread together, then that's what it means. I don't invite you somewhere because I
want you to watch me eat.
Right. Like I'm coming there for your company, and because I want to see my friend, not, And I think it's important also that I think in our society we need to normalize the silence between friends. You don't have to talk to somebody every single day in order to be friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's been times where we've gone about 6 months without talking.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he'll text me, he'll be like, hey, by the way, I'm coming in on BART on this day, and I'm going to stay 3 weeks.
Working on that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and I also understand, like, again, I'm a very anxious person, and I totally understand, like, if you don't talk to the person, you, like, might think that there's something wrong with you. They might think, oh, it's not my friend because I haven't spoke to them in a while. Again, I used to be very dependent on that mindset, and I used to bug people a lot, to the point that it became annoying. But I have to learn that, okay, it's okay to just give them space. Like, I have friends back home that I haven't spoken in, 3 years, and then I get an invitation to a wedding. Like, all of a sudden, as one of the most, in the bridal party. So, yes, there's barely any communication, but the feeling is still the same. And like Brandy said, you don't have to talk with your friends a lot to just remain friends. Like, we've been in the same room for hours on end, and we just do our own things.
But you have to come to an understanding too.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of effort regardless, because that's life.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're gonna build that friendship in 2 weeks.
No, that takes a long time.
It takes a long time to build that friendship, but yeah, there have been times where it's like, I've texted him before, and I was like, okay, I know you're mad at me. I remember one Halloween in particular, we were throwing a Halloween party, and I was stressed out of my mind, and he rang the doorbell, and I just screamed at the top of my lungs, it's effing open! Not knowing who was on the other side of that door. And he was like, all right, I'm taking an Uber home because I'm not dealing with that. And you've got to get to that point. Like, I knew I was in the wrong, but you have to be to that point to where you can tell your friend, look, your attitude is such that I don't want to deal with it. I don't have the mental capacity to handle that right now. And so I'm going to take myself out of this situation while I deal with my own stuff and you deal with your stuff, because it's not fair for you to put on me what I can't handle.
Yeah, and then reconvene later, because obviously a bunch of stuff happens to different people that you don't know about. So it's kind of nice to give them that space, tell them how you feel, and then, okay, I'm gonna let you do your own thing. Just when you feel better, you can like talk to me.
What about working things through together? I know there's things that I need sometimes that I can't handle by myself, and I would need my best friend by my side.
Yeah, that's all about communications. Like,
There's become a point where he'll look at me and he'll be like, I'm not going to deal with that today, and it makes me like, okay, first of all, I'm acting like a bitch. Second of all, why? And he'll work through it with me. But he gives me that warning shot, like, we're not doing this today. We're not acting like this today. And I do the same thing every once in a while.
yeah, it's like, okay, you're going all over the place. Talk to me. What's going on? If we can deal with it, great. If you need some time like alone, fantastic. If you need me to like hug you, kiss you, or whatever, fantastic. I'm here for you. Just let me know what's going on. That way we can work from there.
Maybe not do it in your underwear.
Questioning this friendship. Like, is this a facade you guys are putting? You guys are actually a thing.
We don't do that.
No.
But yeah, it's like the open communications that if you're going through something, just talk about it. Don't just bottle it up inside, because then it's gonna like
Eat you.
and it's gonna burst in the most epic way that it's not gonna be healthy for you, for the other person, or anyone in that blast radius.
Well, at least it gives me hope for my future relationships. There is that. So thank you guys. That, you know. With that said, yeah. Anything else you would like to say, or anybody like to say before we go?
Yeah. Again, our stations. I have my camera. Great. I don't have a song because it's not a Judy Garland, and I don't want her to stay too soon. But our station, Christian_Rivera Licea. If you want to see some of the stuff that that I have made, it's not a lot, but it's something. Ching. Can someone put the sparkle in there? But yeah.
Diva.
I'm pretty. But yeah, it's been an actual pleasure to actually be here and have this type of conversation. I really appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully it will like build something more from here.
Well, we only have our, we give power to that, so we should see. So subscribe, follow them, you know what to do.
Good call.
See you next time. Yeah.